Big John.
FD, what's up? We rolling.
What's going on? You mean your
Nothing.
mom, man? You mean your mom?
Shout out to Spain. Won World Cup.
So shout out Argentina. I don't know what they were on. This is the first World Cup final that I watched in its entirety
Mm.
in my life.
How excited were you to watch it, or how?
I was like, it felt like I was watching like the Super Bowl or something. I felt like I was, I was into that thing. Junior and I sitting
Okay.
there, we're throwing it back and forth. I'm learning some things. I did not know that if you get that red card, in the NBA, man, Draymond gets kicked out of the final, somebody else comes in.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was different in soccer. I did not know that.
Ain't no sub. You get that red card.
No, that's just no,
You got to put a
especially
man down.
especially for putting the guy on the ground. No,
Team got to put a man down.
yeah, got to pay a man down. Some people say I've talked to say, hey, it's not that big because of the size of the field, but others was like, nah, that's significant. So it was a cool experience. You got the who's
I would have
who of
been bored out of my mind.
well, 1-0. There was a lot of Argentina just played poorly. There wasn't a lot of attempts on goal. It was strange. It was weird. Messi started crying at the end.
And
So
you got to think this might have been his last one.
I'm pretty sure him and Ronaldo. So what is the who's up and coming in soccer, man? Like who? I mean, I have no idea.
I
I'll
mean,
tell.
you're all.
Okay, we'll see.
Listen, listen. His car prices are coming down. He didn't have the breakout World Cup. Everybody hype was on, but in 4 years, you're gonna realize, hey, he won a World Cup at 19. That's what he does at 23,
What what about
27.
what about Pulisic? People were talking about him 4 years ago.
Yeah, I mean they were.
And what
Captain
happened?
America was not Captain America. He did not save the day.
So first off, I think when you have something that's every 4 years, it becomes difficult.
Hmm.
So I wish him the best. Though Yamal seems to carry himself a certain way, and I've never heard anything about the young man. So wish him the best. I'm not hating on him. I just whenever I get a sense of the hype train, I just pay attention. My spidey senses start tingling.
The, the hype train does what the hype train does.
It does.
You either a goat
It would
or
never stop.
you're a hype train. I was thinking about this today. Just mentally in my head, preparing about what we might talk about today.
Hmm.
And like you're either on the hype train or you're a goat. You hype train on Mount Rushmore. That's what people are buying. Not one way or the other, right? And I say that because who's really buying Shaq? And I take it further. Shaq's really, really, really good. I say it to somebody else who's a Hall of Famer who was really good with 5 championships. Who's buying Tim Duncan? Who's buying Elijah? Right? You talk about who Hall of Famers. Who's buying Dan Marino? Right? You're buying Tom Brady's. You're not even buying Drew Bledsoe's, or Aaron Rodgers. You're buying Tom Brady, or you're trying Patrick Mahomes, or whatever the hot rookie is right now in football. Right? You're not buying Barry Bonds and Pete Roses and Robert Clemente's. You're buying Shohei Ohtani, or you're trying to find a Mantle or a Willie Mays, something really old, or you're into the Bowman trying to flip Bowman. So in the hobby, the way money's being spent is you're either spending it on the goats or you're spending it on the hype train. And some weeks I feel like that's a repetitive statement, but that never changes.
You're absolutely right. But and then when you say goats, like it has to be, you have to be upper echelon of your generation to
Hmm.
really carry that thing out. Like who's running around talking about there are cars out there, but who's talking about Drew Brees?
All right.
But then I look at what's a
Look
quarterback?
at Bo Nix or Jackson Dart or C.J. Stroud.
Look at Bo Nix and CJ Stroud. Like, are they ever gonna be Drew Brees? And then are they ever gonna run a generation?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what makes me go back to say there's two players every 20 years that, like right now, under 10 years in the league, who's running that? And let's say NBA.
Shay.
Who's running it?
Shay.
Shea. But Bleacher Report, I think it was Bleacher Report, put out top 100 players
Mm-hmm.
all time. Shea wasn't even on the list.
Top 100 players all time. I
How is
hate
Shea?
those lists.
I mean, when you say Bleacher Report, I hate to say it's like a shock value list.
Mm-hmm.
But how could you put a 100 list together and Shea is not on that list?
Especially if you have current players on
Luke,
there.
Luka was 57, bro.
Right.
How's that possible?
Like, how do you, like again, what are your criteria? Because how do you have a AI over a Scottie Pippen in the top 75?
Don't understand it.
Right.
But so it's always going to be some hype train. It's going to be some clicks. It's going to be some stuff involved. You know that. But if I was that player on that level, I'm going to do what I'm doing. I'm going to be very resilient and just walk through all that. That's what Steph Curry did. I'm going to walk through all of that because for many years, nobody gave him any credit. It had to be somebody else of why you're so good, of why you're shooting 30-foot jumpers and they're going number net. It has to be somebody else that's making that happen. Can't just be you. JC, what it do, fam? What's going on?
What's up, JC?
Big John, you gonna rip Topps Chrome baseball? People want to know.
I want to rip some baseball. I want to rip some baseball. I want to rip some top finest basketball. I want to rip some NBA hoops basketball. I want to rip some stuff. Um, but yeah, I'll probably get some top strong baseball. I need to get some Pete Crow Armstrongs and I ain't.
Who is the next generational QB? We don't know who that person is.
And
That person hasn't played to that level.
I mean, one is Patrick Mahomes. One is
Uh,
Pat.
uh three super.
Yeah,
Let's just say that I'm gonna challenge it. 3 Super Bowls doesn't make you generational.
okay. He's had that as much first half success as Tom Brady has, and in the same amount of time.
It's
He's
about that
one of
second,
them.
Big John,
I don't know if the
because
second.
Troy Aikman's not generational.
Huh?
Nobody's
But
saying
right down in the middle of it, he's the only one you can consider first.
it's
You
close.
can't put Josh Allen on that list. You can't put Lamar Jackson on that list.
Josh Allen will never
Right?
be on that. So Patrick Mahomes is the closest. Yes.
You can't put Jalen Hurts on that list.
No.
You know.
One ain't gonna get it. One in a fumble in the second it's not gonna get it. I agree. So
we got
Patrick Mahomes will be the closest to.
yeah. So right now it's like, okay, who's the second? If we're
There's
gonna say who's the closest, who's the second quarterback, right? Is it a Mendoza? Is it a Shedeur Sanders? Is it a Caleb Williams?
it's
Is it a
probably somebody
Jaden Daniels?
great. Might be somebody in 8th grade right now.
It's somebody in eighth grade. That's a whole different generation. That's 6 years for they get. That's no almost 10 years for they get to the league. So that's a whole different generation.
There's no one playing football right now that has shown that they're on that level. We have very inconsistent quarterbacks right now, which
I
is
I, I love it though, right? Because we're a week away from the national, and we started getting football questions.
mhm.
We started getting let's talk about these quarterbacks. Talk about no, is it Joe Burrow? A Burrow generation?
Give him some blocking. Probably is Joe Burrow. Hello. Seems like the WCCS was a little weak on Friday. Alex coming off top rope with 2 knees, 2 elbows. Alex, what made it weak? Were you there? What made it weak?
Uh, I'm gonna come back in. Let me pour that
Go
with the
ahead.
guest real quick.
Go ahead.
All right.
Maybe Fanatics affected. Maybe. Is Emmitt Smith generational? That's a great question. Is Emmitt Smith generational? He's the leading rusher of all time. Is he generational? Great question. Troy Aikman, I don't think anybody, unless you're probably an Oklahoma or UCLA fan or Dallas Cowboy fan, I don't think anybody's describing him as generational because of how he won those 3 Super Bowls. Best offensive line probably in all of football history, NFL history. Leading running back, rushing yards all time. One of the most potent catchers, route runners. And then you had Hart over here who was going to stretch the field. So, and that was a running offense. Still wasn't throwing like they do today, like a Dan Marino did in his day and Troy Aikman's day. So, it's interesting. Big John, question on the table. Is Emmitt Smith generation?
Nobody on that Dallas team was generational.
See? I said the same thing.
Walter Payton was generational. Very sad. So let me understand. Let me let you know a little secret of mine. I respect Emmitt Smith. I have a deep dislike of how he ended his career.
Or how he ended, you said?
Yes.
How did you mean in Arizona?
And there, he played in Arizona just to
Yeah,
break Walter Payton's record. He
yeah,
should not have been. He was not physically fit to be playing running back
I agree.
at that age.
He ran looking back the whole time he was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. He just wanted to break Walter Payton's record. And that just all as a Walter Payton sweetness fan, as a Bears fan, that always rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah. I think true Chicagoans are going to see it like that.
Mhm. I mean, again, you look at Barry Sanders, it's probably the one that should have the all time record if he wasn't playing for the Sorry Lions.
Or if he didn't have that respect for Walter, Mr. Payton, and want to just say, I'm not breaking this record.
And that too, but I mean, as well as I don't want to play for these Sorry Lions no more.
True.
Right? So it's just one thing.
Alex says, yes, I was there. Not many people, even at vendor, told me that they were about 100 some tables not covered. A lot of them also said it was slow. A lot more Pokemon in sports. That's at the West Coast Car Show.
So you want to get in this Fanatics Fest, Dallas, West Coast? Hey, Alex, thank you for that insight. We, I figured that West Coast and Dallas would be more Pokemon than sports cars. With
Why'd you?
anybody that's a big time in the hobby would probably be at Fanatics Fest,
Hmm, okay.
right? So especially coming from California, you're thinking like, if you're somebody with the means, you're probably going to choose to be at Fanatics Fest. One, to ingratiate yourself with Fanatics, right? You gotta kiss the ring, and two, you probably want to experience something. There's going to be more big deals happening at Fanatics Fest. Because everything I seen on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok were all big deals. I'm not talking about a couple $100. I'm talking about $700-800 and up deals.
Well, this is how you advertise something, right? So all
Yeah,
these videos of marketing, that's how you advertise something. Like these events have to become Disneyland.
true.
They have to. If not, what are we doing?
But so
Like you don't see any video. I haven't seen any videos of anybody shopping dollar bins at Fanatics Fest.
listen, even if I haven't heard anybody, I listened to a couple podcasts from people that were there. Haven't heard anything about dollar bands. I haven't heard anything about Dallas. I haven't
I
with
heard
you and I. There were no videos coming out of West Coast Car Show
no. I didn't see
at
anybody
all.
filming there, but two brothers that are typically at that show, and they film at every show they go to. But I didn't see any influencer walking around with a camera and filming anything.
No.
And I'm not
When you
talking.
said
I'm not talking poorly or bad about the West Coast Car Show. I
no,
try. I usually don't. I don't like to use the word never, but I usually don't go to a show and then try to talk bad about the show. So I'm not
what
doing that. I'm just
I
saying.
don't think you can say you can really talk bad about this show in general from this weekend because the shows this weekend were up against a juggernaut, right?
What's the Juggernaut Fanatics Fest?
Yes,
I
you're
would
up.
really. I am really interested. If you look at a map of America, where is Fanatics Fest pulling people from? I don't think it's pulling. Maybe I'm very naive. We are in a real economy right now.
Yes,
There's real stuff going down right now. Everybody has real things to think about. I don't think Fanatics Fest is pulling as far as we
oh,
think Fanatics Fest is pulling.
oh, I will agree to you on that, but it's pulling the vendors with the means. It may not be pulling the regular person with the means.
I talked to some nice vendors at the West Coast Car Show. It's like it serves me no purpose to be there.
And that's for them. But for a lot of people, especially if you're West Coast and you have a shop and you're trying to get
Oh,
a
you trying to
vacation
get application? Trying to
and
get that?
you're trying to ingratiate yourself to, but
I feel
the
you.
fanatics. If you have the means, you have to travel from Florida. You got to travel from Dallas. You got to travel from Chicago.
Speaking fact,
And right, these if you're a bigger brand in the hobby, you can't say I'm going to stay local and support West Coast and not and forego
you're absolutely right.
Fanatics Fest, right?
You're right.
You got you. I'm gonna keep a small. Maybe I'll keep a small team here, you know, and I'm taking everybody else,
I agree.
right? Maybe we bring up. We can split up. We can split off and be, I've heard seen people like, hey, I usually go to Dallas, but I live in Jersey, so I'm gonna go to Fanatics Fest, and my partner I go do it. He gonna go down to Dallas, right, or vice versa. Like there's this is a show where there's FOMO. Like, think about it, right? If you're trying to, even if is it worth it to be in a building and pay and be able to try to network with people and explore your network with people, if not people in the back end, people in the industry, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
that's one option. If is it worth it to get to sell to just get your sales and stuff out? Ooh, Fernando Tatis finally hit a home run, 474 feet.
Oh, we have our guest here.
Okay. Oh, we got, I guess.
Sorry, I'm in a conversation. I don't know when he came.
Okay. So,
Do you want
um,
to introduce Big John or?
yeah, I can introduce. So we're gonna come back to this Fanatics Fest. I haven't got my words or my opinion fully out yet, but we have a
Yes.
great guest coming on with you guys and gals to talk tonight. We have William Forbidden Cards and Collectibles. He is out of Connecticut. He is a Pokemon TCG player. and a Pokemon vendor. I got to meet him at the first 860 car show a year ago. He's actually set up next to me, him and his family. He's a great guy, genuine person, is very nice. And every time I see him at a show, he has a lot of energy. He has a lot of people that need to join just being there. And so I would love to get him in tonight. Let's talk to him and see what he got going on. So everybody,
Hey guys,
thank you, Will, for coming on, man.
what's going on, man?
What's happening? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Busy day, busy week so far.
I'm sure you got you got some things coming up for yourself soon.
I know.
Definitely would love to talk about that. But
You
we
know,
appreciate you taking the time out to talk to us. If you so usually we talk a lot. So if you need to go off anytime, you just let us know because we talk a lot. You're welcome to stay as long as you want and come in. So why don't you introduce yourself to everybody on YouTube?
guys, I'm William, TCGer for 30 years, Pokemon TCGer for 5 years. Like you said before, John, that we started vending a couple years ago. I met you at the Mystic Show, I believe.
Yeah.
And I love to hear that what you said. That you can recognize and see the energy and sort of the passion that we try to bring. A lot of people who are in it on the business side, I think they struggle with that, the passion, the energy, the love of it, becomes a business, but I have 3 little kids and my wife. Everyone is involved in it. We have a Pokemon team. Everyone's involved in it. And it's no longer fun or worth it, if it's just business. So
Right.
I try to keep it real light at the table. Try to keep everything affordable. We offer got people to come in and play us. You can actually play one of us, and if you beat us, you win a free pack. Just trying to keep the energy and the levity and the lightheartedness of it. I love that.
So first of all, your family, your kids. The kids are sharks. Okay, I've done deal with Susie kids, and they sharks. Okay, they know what they're looking for, they know what they want, but they're always nice. Um, Having you next to me in my first show really calmed me down because
Okay.
I was like doing one, not knowing well, I know how to sell, that's what I do every day, but like just not knowing this side of the table.
Sure.
And so but seeing somebody actually have fun. So when there was nobody there, I'm just chilling. We're relaxing. This is fun. Let's have conversations, know people. So it was
Right.
definitely sitting down and seeing you every show I go to, I do afterwards, it's good to see other people like me in the building still having fun and doing it. But like you said, you guys play the game and seeing people come and play out, that's a trap. That's just how it is. Your kids are good.
They are. I think I'm a good player, but my kids, for their age, are great players. So it's such a, and my 10-year-old, especially, all my kids, but my 10-year-old, especially, son, uh, man, it's a trap. He'll go against a 35-year-old that's got world points and everything, and he beats him. And it's just like, what just happened? I lost to a 10-year-old, like, I love that. I do love that too.
um, so I got a couple questions. We don't listen, we talk and have fun, but I got a couple interview questions for you, so don't mind me here, okay? It's a little bit awkward. So what made you want to get into playing the Pokemon TCG?
Well, I played TCG honestly since Magic 93, 94, right? That's when I got in. And I played a ton of TCG after that. Me and my brother collected Pokemon as kids. We moved here to Connecticut 5 years ago. Just one day, my oldest son, my 14-year-old, 9 at the time, came home from school one day. And he's like, Dad, I know you play these games. Do you know how to play Pokemon? And I've never played it before in my life. Me and my brother used to like play with them like toys. We didn't play the card game. And he was like, well, Dad, I really want to learn it because his kids at school, they were playing like an Ivy Clear War version of it. And so it kind of started us on a journey. Shortly after we started like just messing around, my oldest son really, he became really fond of it. And I realized like, wow, he's so into it. I really have to now participate. I have to become a player for him to get his reps in and to become better. And because it's at 9 years old, he can learn the game, but there's also an etiquette that goes on at tournaments and tabling that I know. You know what I mean? And being a part of that, he had some tough losses in the beginning. Where he didn't know how to handle it and the pressure of it. But he's come a long way, and now he shares in that levity that I have at the table as a vendor and at playing, and they all do. They all do. They love it.
Hey, I think it's always the hardest part of the kid, right? Is learning how to lose. My
Yeah,
daughter's 11, and she has my competitive nature. So trying to play anything for fun, just for fun with her is like, hey, this is just for fun. Let's just put it out there, this cautionary tale out there first, because once I beat you, you're gonna be mad.
yeah.
Because I don't take it easy on her. She's got to earn the win.
And all my kids, they're three different personalities, right? My daughter, she almost couldn't care less. My oldest son, it's a learning experience. But my 10-year-old son is he's very competitive. He's in it for the science of it. Like he's watching you beat him or watching you play your hand and getting ready for the next time he plays you. They're three different persons. They're so different. All good. They all have fun with it, but very different.
So, William, where did you live? What did you when you moved to Connecticut? Where did you move from?
I lived up in Dutchess County in the Hudson Valley.
Okay.
We were there for 11 years, and my in-laws got a little ill, and my sister-in-law and my wife wanted to centralize sort of their being around them, and so the move was to come here so that everybody was all under one roof, so to speak. Being in Connecticut, so that's where we came from. And before that, I came from the Bronx.
Oh, okay. Thought I heard some
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No,
Oh yeah.
well, it's very evident that family's important. It's kind of the same thing with me and my wife when we moved up here to South Carolina. We had my daughter. All her family was here, and it was just easier to have that community being up here than being down south by ourselves.
Yeah.
And now, everybody getting older and health issues. It's wonderful that we are here to be able to help each other.
That's a fact, bro. It really is. That one. My mother-in-law is 27 minutes away in one direction. My sister-in-law is 45 minutes away in another direction, and it's great. Honestly, before it was horrible. They were 4 hours away, an hour and a half. So that it's great where we're at right now for the kids
Uh-huh.
too.
Yep.
Hey, free babysitting, right?
I wish I had it more often than we get it now, but no, they're great. They support us in every move that we make.
So, when you play, so what's your play style of playing the game, playing the TCGs?
Uh, I'm very aggressive. I'm an aggressive player. I really do respect those guys that can get very techy and, really get into long, drawn out games and, outthink you, so to speak. Do I have the ability to tech out a deck and go deep into a game? Sure, I do. But traditionally, I love to thump. I want to go out, my hands up, my feet dug into the ground. And so every deck that I build in some way is like that. It's just swinging for guts.
Is that so? Like, I am getting back into Pokemon, right?
Sure.
I don't understand the game, but I do try to understand like cards from a buying and selling, what's good and what's not. Is that art or like how do you build a deck? Like, is it
The first thing you want to do, right, is you have to learn general mechanics. I suggest to everybody you go to your local store, find an environment that you're comfortable with, and just learn general mechanics. YouTube, when we first started, YouTube was a great asset for us, and then we started going to a couple of local shops, some very, very good people that we met along the way that were kind enough to teach us how to play. And then in playing, you have to learn who you are. A good buddy of mine started playing about 2 years ago. He was trying to fit like a square into a circle. And after watching him play, I was just like, because that's the best deck in the meta today. That doesn't mean that's the best deck for you. And we all think different. Our strategies internally, they're different. How we process information is different. And so after you learn the general mechanics of the game, the next step is to learn who you are and what decks best suit, the person that you are as a TCGer.
Okay. So, and that's one thing I've noticed about the Pokemon community that's different from the sports community. They are really, hey, you want to come learn? I'm doing this day. You come over to the shop and we can teach you. We have a whole group where we just, because I'm in Groton, and then we have Prowess Gaming, and then the Clever Cubbo in Groton.
Sure.
So like in both of those, they have days where they just you want to learn whatever TCG you want to learn. Come in. We'll teach you how to play Magic. We'll teach you how to play Pokemon. We'll teach you how to play Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece. So you you know when I started back in sports cards, you had to pry information from people until you found your people,
Right.
right? Once you find your people, information flows easily because we all want to see you get better. But initially from Pokemon, it's like, oh, you like Pokemon cards? Hey, do you know what SIR is? Do you know what EX is with VMAX? And they just give you all the information. You just download it and take it in. Whereas with sports, you have to ask the right question to get the right answer.
I'm a sports guy. I'm a huge sports guy. I think that's true, but I also think depending on the TCG you play, Pokemon has a very childish love. Yu-Gi-Oh has a very childish love. It's 25 years, and those specifically, Pokemon the most. There's a very friendly community because we all think back at those Charizards, Pikachu's, and that first time we had those pajamas, that toy, that playing that video game. That's my connection to Pokemon and my kids as well. Magic, I started off as a Magic player. Very welcoming community. Different though. Every community is different, but in general, the TCG at large, they're welcoming. They want to bring you in. They want to teach you. They know for them to enjoy their game, there has to be a level of consistent growth. And if they're not growing in body count, and then you're not going to be able to do locals, and you're not going to be able to do challenges and all these other tournaments and stuff like that. So you have to, if you really love it, you have to be willing. We are willing, us, my family, me. We constantly are teaching people. We at our tables. I know you've seen it.
Mhm.
So you can learn on the spot. I will teach you how to play right then and there. And I hope that that same love and admiration that me and my brother had 30 years ago for it continues on to that next generation.
William, what are your thoughts on grading Pokemon cards?
My thoughts on grading them?
Yeah, grade them instead of playing with them.
So I'm a collector. I have a graded collection behind me here. I'm a big Pokemon guy in general. I love grading cards. I do. Unfortunately, there's a whole big mess now with certain companies, right? And it's put a sort of stain on grading, the pricing, the turnaround time, what value is actually the true value. It's hard to determine, man. So I've slowed down me as a vendor, but it hasn't stirred me away from collecting and still finding my grails. You know what I mean? And I've expanded into tag, and before I was strictly a PSA for my TCG stuff, Beckett for my sports stuff, and that was it. No one could tell me anything different. But over the last couple of years, I've it's expanded a great deal. CGC and tag. I love tags. Are beautiful. They really are. They don't have the market yet, but yeah, I love to grade. I wish it was a little bit more affordable. I wish it was a little more accessible, and I wish it didn't have the current stain that it's sort of going through right now.
I get you.
Yeah, I think everybody right now with grading is a lot of sitting and waiting. We all want to know when's value going to come back and at what price it's going to come back.
Yep.
And so like I usually agree with GameStop with my Pokemon PSA or PC Sports. But now it's the math, it's the equation, like what's worth grading and even if it's smart PC, is it worth spending $80 to grade it if I'm just gonna keep it for me, if I'm not trying to resell it?
I think if you're going for your PC, um, I don't have the patience to wait 3 months. If I see a car that I'm like, man, that's the one I want, I'm usually gonna go straight for it, if I can afford it. Um, if I'm on the vendor side, on the shop owner side, it only makes sense now when you're doing it in bulk. If you're putting one or two or three, it doesn't make the sense that it once did with GameStop. GameStop was so affordable at one point that you could do that, one on a Tuesday and three next Thursday. That isn't the case anymore. Waiting 116 days is just wild business from a business perspective. But from a fan perspective, for me, if there's a grail out there I want, I'm just going after it. If that means trading, buying, whatever, I want it. My whole case is grails, all stuff that I like. So, and I have a weird niche too. My case is majority the top card of a deck that I played or a deck that they got the best of me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a weird sort of like collection I have, but I love it.
Your own version of Champions League, basically.
That's a fact. If you cooked me, man, I got a lot of respect for you. I want the grail. I want the top card. And then if you did right by me, and I dominated and did well with you, I want the top card. I want to look at you and be like, that's it.
Okay. So I mean we kind of slow played the big news that you guys doing. You mentioned it. You're becoming a shop owner here in Connecticut, right?
Yep.
Let's talk about that. Where is that? Can we get into some of that?
Sure. Well, we're hoping to open up in Cromwell August 1st. Some delays. We're hoping to fight through them. Not on my side, construction and everything, but we're hoping August 1st with our first show on the 9th and our first tournament on the 8th. I'm an old school comic guy. I'm an old school, card collectible in general. I'm a huge sport guy. Right here I have, a bunch of sports stuff, comic stuff, all littered through my room, my office. And I think about my old, like me wanting to get into it is something I kind of want to give to my kids. I like we had already done regional. We had already traveled to play Pokemon. We're vending. What can I give my kids? What can I build for them? Is a shop, a business similar to the one that I grew up in. I grew up in the Bronx, and my old comic shop, sports, comics, TCG. You could play in the back. He had arcades in the back, kind of like an experience, and you don't really see that anymore. Like a one-stop shop. As a kid, you go in with a fistful of quarters, and you're just going at it, playing, arcades, buying baseball cards, buying Pokemon cards. It's kind of like a dream, to have a place like that. And I'm hoping that we can deliver on it. So
It's exciting.
Congratulations, man. It's a big venture. And you don't see people opening up shops as much, especially with what, allocation being difficult and things. Like besides for your kids, what made this the right time to take that challenge and make this dream of yours come true?
So I've been in property management for over 20 years. And I also do feel like, over 20 years, 25 years, there's the sands of time are sort of like they're waiting on all of us, right? Mother Nature is undefeated. Father Time is undefeated. and if you wait, you may never get there. So I always had a dream of opening up a comic shop or a sports. At one point, I wanted to open up a sports arcade. Like your ambitional dreams, that you think of. And why not? I got a great wife who supports me. I have great kids, support everything that we do. You've seen it, right?
Yeah.
I have friends and teammates that come to the table to support what we do. I just think it's a good time now for me, for them, for us, and that's why we're going for it.
Hey, listen, go for it. I mean, I think it's going to be wildly successful. And the thing is, I've seen, Scott who runs EC3Con, right?
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah. He has a store too.
You had he has a story, right? He had you have that same passion in talking to you that he had when we first talked to him,
Hmm.
and I can just see how his shop and EC3 has grown through his passion because is one is he loves cards, but he loves people in the cards
Sure.
and trying to, and I see the same with you with the TCG and one of the people that learn how to play it. So I am rooting for you. I've already requested the first all for me to drive down and come by the shop and be there to support. It's one that when you announced it, like, yep, went to work. I need to stay off.
Oh,
All things being equal, I want to try to be there. All right,
that's
but
awesome, man.
for the obvious reasons, but because you don't see a lot of minority owned shops at that. So obviously that's just who I am. But I mean to meet you, being around you at the shows, I felt like I have to try. So, hope with all things being well, I will drive to Cromwell. Say Cromwell, right?
Oh yeah.
Did you? Well, this is maybe a local note, but I guess I got a new. That city got a new nickname, the Paris of Connecticut, from Will Ferrell. Did
Uh,
you
I,
see that?
I've heard it. The reason why we chose Cromwell, I'm not joking, was I was looking for. I literally typed in geographical like center of Connecticut,
Hmm.
and Cromwell comes up, and their nickname is the Crossroads of America, or Crossroads of Connecticut, excuse me. And I was like, why would they name it the Crossroads of Connecticut? And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, it's considered the dead center of Connecticut. And then somebody has also told me about the Paris of Connecticut. I'm like, wow, it's great. It's a nice little town, man. The mayor's great. Good people. We're down at town hall. Introduce ourselves, and so far they've been really welcoming, very interested. And like I don't think people know what we do. So look, trading cards is one thing, but the real premise of it is sort of a place to host tournaments um, in a comfortable setting. It's a lot of concentration goes into TCG, but we're not only doing TCG. We're also going to we're going to host board game nights, chess tournaments, Beyblade. I don't know if you know Beyblade.
Yeah, I know
We're
basically.
going to have Beyblade tournaments. Um, we want to again. Kids don't go out enough anymore. They don't go. I think about me going to comic stores as a kid, and they don't do that anymore. So I want to create this environment in this space where they're going to go there and be able to challenge somebody else, participate in tournaments, interact with others, and have a good time doing it.
Yeah, I agree. I remember when I first moved to Connecticut, everybody used to go and to the mall in New London and play on the weekends. And now
Mhm.
there are basically no more malls. So
No,
where do they go? Where do the kids go to just play and not get in trouble? Not be around negative influences
right. That's
and do something that's fun.
yep. And you know what? It's our hours during the week are like 4 to 9. So, that after school environment, if you have the ability, come on through, spend a couple of hours with us, teach you how to play chess, teach you how to play a litany of different board games, a ton of different TCGs. We even have arcade games.
I think he froze a little.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, here we go. See, that's fun. It's only like 45 minutes per hour for me, so I might have to
Yeah,
drive down a couple of times.
if I was close, I would definitely roll through. Go ahead, William.
Sorry, but so we have arcade games as well. We're gonna have a 7 arcade 1-up machines. I used to play Street Fighter 2 Turbo tournaments, and all of that. I want to bring that back. I want to have a space where I want to hear the banter of kids and adults in the background. Like gotcha, and I love it.
That's that sounds like that. You're going to build several different communities all in one spot.
Yep. Try to make it happen, man.
Now, are you going to have a pinball machine? Because that brings me back to my old days playing pinball.
So there is a pinball machine I want to buy. I don't know if you've seen the ads. It's a Pokemon pinball machine. It's 8 bands. So yeah, I got a bunch of. I figured I would spread the wealth over 7 arcade 1-up machines and an air hockey table instead of just buying the one pinball machine. But one day.
I used to have a Street Fighter 2 arcade.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow it was not allowed to move into the house when we moved there. Somebody vetoed that being moved in.
Oh,
wow.
What? Yeah, I tell you, my wife, I gotta give her credit. I'm a guy, I wrestled, I played football, baseball, basketball. I did everything. I've known her since high school. She's dealt with all my loves of my life: Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, everything that is like whatever I'm into at that time. She's always been totally okay with it, very supportive. And one of those things, I'm not a gamer today. I play with my kids, but when I was a gamer, she would show out, bro. Come to the local arcade and just be at the time a good friend, just sitting there. So I'm lucky that way, very lucky.
This. I think we all agree. Women in our lives drive us to do great things.
Oh yeah,
So
Very true.
very true.
William, I got a question for you. I know art cards are more and more popular in the hobby. Are there some art cards that really grab your attention, your eye, or some stuff that you may have in your collection?
Sure. Art wise, let's see. So for my collection, this is one of the cards that I was telling you that the bane of my existence. It defeated me more times than I could count.
Mm-hmm.
New VMAX, just a devastating card with the Fusion Strike engine.
Mm-hmm.
I love this art. I love Mew. It's such a playful. Sorry, he looks like he's having such a great time. If you see this card right here is probably one of my favorite arts. Period.
Okay.
I have a few others. I'm not as artsy. Do I appreciate the art? Absolutely. But I'm more enamored with what a card can do or a Pokemon can do. Like when I read it, I'm like, ooh, it's cookie right here. Like I love that. And my kids buy these books. They're like these encyclopedias. They're about Pokemon, and I find myself reading them. They throw them around the house, and I have gained an admiration and a love for a couple of Pokemon just reading their story. Zygarde being one of them, Rayquaza being another. I love good Rayquaza art. Oh, of all these guys, Rayquaza, I don't own that card. It's very expensive. I will have it one day, I believe, in a PSA 10. That's gorgeous art. And, his whole storyline, story arc, and everything is very interesting if you're really into, the hobby.
now,
Good.
it's right. Rayquaza's going to be in an upcoming set, right? It's not in pitch black, but it's coming on the 30th anniversary, right?
Yep.
A lot of people have been sending me, hey, you need to pick up some Rayquaza. It's going to be a resurgence in its market, and because another big card's coming up. Like I grew up on the original 151, right? I've I've played all the games leading up to the last one because I used to manage GameStops, so I've played all the games. But it's like it's just not like Zygarde's not a character that I'm familiar with. I mean, Rayquaza is not a character in my head I can remember playing with. But like I remember playing with Mew. I remember Mew cards. I remember the Charizards. You know, one of my favorite Pokemon is Arcanine. Like
Right.
that was like when I can get a Growlithe and get an Arcanine and get with it. That's my favorite fire Pokemon, right? Some people like the evolutions. Like I think that he may be getting a new evolution in one of the upcoming shows or games.
Arcanine or Eevee.
Arcanine.
Yeah, I heard about
Like,
that. I heard it wasn't going to be a true evolution, something closer to like a mega form, kind of deal.
okay.
Something where like he expands onto, but without evolving. I love that. Me and my daughter, we share. My favorite Pokemon of all time is probably Onyx. I'm an old 151 guy. I always loved Brock chasing after the Nurse Joy, and I thought that was hilarious. But my daughter and I, we collectively have a favorite Pokemon together, and it's Growlithe Arcanine. So this room is littered with Growliths and Arcanines and tons of the cards and artwork. I love him. He's kind of like a pseudo legendary too.
Yeah. That's what I remember growing up with. But y'all kind of just you and her. This is our Pokemon. Do you have a favorite Pokemon with your boys as well, or
Favorite Pokemon with my boys. With Alex, it's probably Entei. We love Entei a lot, and it's funny, Entei is an evolution form he comes from Flareon passing away and Ho-Oh bringing him back to life. I love that story. That's me and Alex. Me and William, do we have a favorite Pokemon? No, I don't think we have a favorite Pokemon. I think we have a general taste. Both me and him, we like very hardy Pokemon. So the more bruisey and the more hardy they are, in the cartoon or in gameplay, we like them. Onyx, Rayquaza. Same thing with him. Dialga is a big one for him. Onyx, Steelix. We love hardy Pokemon for sure.
right, after you got some questions?
Let me see here. So, William, so I try to learn Pokemon. I didn't grow up playing Pokemon, and Big John and I want to have more people on that represent TCG sports and all that. So, so some of my questions are beginner level, just to gain understanding. We talked about artwork. We talked about your favorite Pokemon. Are there some underrated cards that you think may be more popular in the near future, 3 to 5 years, than what they are right now?
Popular in the collector set or in playability?
Let's say playability, because I think that would be more for me to learn.
There's a mechanic right now that just came out from the last set. It's hide and seek is the ability.
Okay.
And the more hide and seek Pokemon that you have in your discard, this just came out with the last set. I got to play it in pre-release. Yeah, it multiplies your attack. Traditionally, anything that there's a multiplication of your attack, whether it's energies on a Pokemon in your discard, it's fun. It's not always the most consistent, but if I'm teaching somebody, that's the kind of deck that I would actually teach them with. Because it's simple. Hey, if it says hide and seek on it, it's in the discard, remember your attack goes up X amount.
Mhm.
Work to getting them in the discard, get an energy on your attacker, make it real simple for the person that's learning. I have a couple of decks like that now, not that one in particular, but similar concept, just
Mhm.
so people could learn, you know, the X's and O's of it.
Understood. Thank you.
I got a question picking back off that. So I seen it with the Pokepad with the last set where Pokepad that card gained value because it was really good playable piece. But being good and competitive or being in the meta of competitive, does that really translate to market value? And how does that translate to like something being rare versus it being something that is really good in the game, being that competitive, and being valued because of that?
Sure. I mean, in the case of PokePad, initially it had a ton of dollar value.
Mhm.
Because in the last three rotations, we've lost. You guys may not know the cards, but we lost Battle VIP, we lost Quick Ball, we lost Nest Ball. So any way we can get basic Pokemon onto the field as fast as we can is integral to getting your board state set up. PokePad, it was fire when it first came out because it came out short in one set and they short printed it and there was an absolute craze. Players, that portion of the market driven solely by players because there isn't an actual collector I met that could care less about PokePad. But you take a guy like me, I hate to say it, when it first released, I'm buying PokePads, which are 13-cent, 30-cent cards today. I was buying them for $7, $6, $7, $8 a piece. I gotta fuel my 3 decks. I gotta fuel each of my son's 2 decks, my daughter's deck. So I was spending a good amount on these PokePads just to ensure that we had it. A mechanism of that's a mechanism of play. That value of that card, getting set up is so important, and we all had to have it.
So it's more of a short term from a buying and selling than it is over the long haul. Like
Oh
you
yeah,
see, like
over
Pikachu's will go up.
over the long haul, those common cards like this, like a PokePad that's like this like a common. This is sense. You know what I mean? It will have no true value long term. And the moment that it leaves rotation, Pokemon operates in a 3-year rotation. If it's not reprinted, no one's going to care about it historically. I mean, some people may for the if they're finishing a set, but it'll if there's a new something that comes up that replaces it, that'll be the new fad.
Okay, go ahead, FD.
And we were talking earlier, and I saw some questions about matte glossy card sleeves.
Okay.
Which ones do you use?
I like a good matte finish. I do like a good matte finish. It takes about 25, whether it's matte or glossy, by the way, it's going to take 25 to 30 hands of shuffling and rubbing the sleeves against each other to get that factory sheen off. Because as you're shuffling and you're going through, they're slippery. I like matte finish, love matte finish. That's my preferred. I was looking around to see if I had any sleeves here because I have both, but yeah, for me it's matte. And regardless, they're both going to come with a slippery sort of feel to them. You're going to have to get 25, 30 hands in before that
Okay.
factory sheen comes off.
What do you think now when we all go to shows? We had a show out here. Dallas is going on. There's a bunch of the nationals coming up. A lot of these shows are 70, 80% TCG Pokemon. What do you think about that trend and how it's going? And do you see that staying consistent in the near future?
You know, it, it's always about the new thing, right? Like, it'll be the trend until the next new thing hits. I mean, guys like me who are again are TCGers for 30 years, we're gonna stay around. We're gonna, you know what I mean? We're not going anywhere.
Hmm.
From a player's perspective, from a collector's perspective, we're not going anywhere. But the fad of it, right? You know what I mean? That's sort of taking the world by storm. Until the next thing hits, I think we're going to see this dramatic uptick. I remember as a kid, growing up in the comic stores and the sports card stores, and sports cards ruled the world. When I was a kid, like they ruled the world. Comics were number two, and then way at the end of the line was TCG. Like no one cared about a Magic card. I wanted to get the Ken Griffey Jr. and I wanted to get Spider-Man 100, and so until the next fad hits, I think we're going to have this oversaturation.
The way I look at it is there's something for everybody at the show, right? And if you're a Spurs person, you're mad because more Pokemon people coming in. Talk to them, right? There's a lot of crossover. I don't think there's more people that like both Pokemon and sports than just like one or the other. Separate. There's more people. You're gonna. There's people who say, oh, yeah, I watch Pokemon on the morning cartoons, then I watch, football on Sunday. I played football and I played basketball, and I also traded sports, traded Pokemon with my friends, and they would say, "Oh no, I didn't do none of that. I'm only for sports. I'm only for Pokemon." Right? There's more crossover, and that's why I try to have something for everybody because I want to talk to as many people as possible and get to know many people as possible. So I have Pokemon like, hey, I'm learning. I think this is all dollar cards. You let me know how wrong I am or how right I am. If you get a deal, you get a deal. I'm still learning. I know the big cards and I know but everything else, it's $1. I'm sure if not, maybe less. Just let me know, whatever. And but that's how I talk to more people. I see everybody who's only sports and they're mad when I go to these different shows, and I'm like, yeah, but you have the same Super Flag card that the other 10 tables have here. There's different Pokemon, there's different versions of this Pikachu or this Rayquaza or this Charizard at several different tables. I'm going to see a lot of the same stuff, but then I'm going to see stuff I've never seen,
Right.
right? And there's more base, regular of what we could say the hype train people, whereas Cooper Flag, Patrick Mahomes,
Yep.
LaMelo Balls, it sports card tables. That's not really a hype train for Pokemon cards. You like who you like. There's people who like Mewtwo. There's people who like Meow, or whoever, and they want to see those cards when they go through different tables. I've been at big shows and it's like, oh, you got this card at $40, you got this at 35, you got this at 39, you got this at 50. I'm not going to that table because you're way off. This card probably is between, but it's all the same one-off sports card. Whether you look through somebody's binder, you got a gold star in the binder? I've never seen a gold star. And you see packs of um, what's the dinosaur, the prehistoric one,
Also,
fossil. I haven't seen a fossil pack since I was young.
yeah.
You know, and then especially here in Connecticut, like there's not a lot of people that's going to have the big cars that you see at a Fanatics Fest or you see at a National where they got 20, 30, $40,000 cars that you may never see.
Right.
You have a couple people like that at EC3 Con, but they come from New York. They come from New Hampshire.
The so it's crazy. They operate in different ways, and and sort of the fandom. They come from different places. I'm a big football guy. I'm a huge football guy. Early on in vending, I thought about, because I have a huge collection of sports stuff. Should I be doing that as well? And the one thing that I realized is like I could never get into it today, um, because if somebody gets an injury, a $10,000 card is worth 100, 200, $300, a month later, and I saw that at one of my first shows. One of my first shows, a guy bought a card. It was like 5 bands, a sports card, and then he got the player got injured, and it was worth, I think, $1,000. And now here you go, you're making this investment. The thing with Pokemon and TCG at large, if you're going to collect those, Charizard can't break his leg. If he
Charizard can't do a hit and run. Charizard can't get a DUI.
Right. If he was your go-to guy 30, 25, 20 years ago, he's your go-to guy today, and there's really nothing he can do wrong. So it's different markets, and how they operate and how they evaluate. You said something before that everybody has a different, you're a Meowth guy, you're a Charizard. That's an absolute truth. I have customers so passionate. They will collect every card of a specific Pokemon that 90% of the community, they maybe have never heard of that Pokemon, but it doesn't matter to them at all. They love that Pokemon. They want that Pokemon. They want every iteration possible, and that collection, it may not be worth more than $100, but to them it is absolutely priceless.
Some people have a binder of just one card of the same card.
Yep. Well, I have a collection like that. I'm sorry. My son Alex, the little guy, he loves dinosaurs, and so I collect Tyrantrum. He's a dinosaur. And when we started playing, I have like 45 of them. I know it's a sickness. I'm sorry. But I love it though. He's a cute little dinosaur. And my youngest son, when he was very young, he used to mimic dinosaur sounds. So he'd go around, and I saw it, made me think of him, and so now I'm collecting them.
Very cool.
It's just different ways to connect. So, I mean, it's something that, I don't think we're ever going to get away from 50-50 at the very worst that is at a show from Pokemon to sports cards.
Yeah.
My biggest deals I've made have been on Pokemon cards.
Oh yeah.
Right. I've helped. That's my biggest deals is just I sold a whole binder at the last Mystic show.
Yeah, those people, by the way, I want to give them a shout out. They are amazing. That venue is beautiful. They're some of the kindest organizers I've come across. I've met some amazing organizers, very kind, but they are very kind. And we were in our infancy, very early on in vending when we first started going to the Mystic show, and we met so many great people at that their first show, that we have the vendors and customers, we have great relationships with them. Relationships. That could only exist when there's an environment for that to happen, right? You know what I mean? Like, and they did a great job, and they continue to do a good job.
Yes, Alex and Joanna are awesome.
Yep.
I just signed up for the show in September.
Yep.
Yesterday. Like I'll be there. I'll reply. I'll be there.
I gotta sign up. I gotta. It's. I think right now they are the only 100% repeat for a venue for us. They're no question 100% repeat. And it's an hour away from my house, hour and 7 minutes. What a great environment! What a beautiful venue.
William, do you plan to attend the upcoming national, or have you been to the national before?
No to either. Aside from my regular job, starting a business, and I have 3 kids, And I got kids, they're in karate, they're in dance, and a litany of other things. And then we're also One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon players. We do all competitively, and our schedule is really full. Like, you know,
Good.
I
Understood.
actually have to. I can book Friday, Saturday, or Sunday every week, no problem. We have a master calendar in the kitchen, big, you know, giant whiteboard, and to sort of track everything. And I have to pull back. Oh, don't forget, you know, there's a karate tournament this weekend, or don't forget, there's a dance thing on Friday, and so I have to. I wish I could actually do more shows, but the wife and kids, they come first.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this story. I was just telling Big John a week or so ago that one of my personal goals is to build the strongest collection that I can build and never go to any of these shows.
Okay.
Because to me, I was collecting before this became Fanatics Fest and the national really grew legs and became the national now, and content was on YouTube, and it's very feasible to have a collection, grow a collection, enjoy your collection without any of that if that's what a person desires to. And I also, William, have children. And yeah, if you're in there and you're just like Big John, if you're in there and you're active, you got a schedule. You got a lot of stuff going on.
Yep.
And the perception is that you have to do XYZ when you really don't have to. And
Right.
you can continue to, with your enjoyment that you've had for the last 30 years, you can continue that without ever going to any of these functions.
So,
William,
right.
I give you some background. Me and FD have a fundamental disagreement about shows and the needing of shows in general.
Okay.
So I feel like shows are good because it helps you not experience it alone or just over the internet, right? You get to meet people in person, and as
Yep.
far as the skills you get to actually get talking to people, meeting in person. But he's right from a collecting standpoint. I don't have to go. I can buy every car I want on eBay almost.
Mm-hmm.
Or by networking.
Or
Doesn't have to be at a show.
But one of the biggest avenues for networking for me, because I'm a comic collector, I'm an everything collector. It's horrible, but like comics, one of my best friends, and one of my teammates, his brother sold me this comic. Right, this is a graded 9/8 Spider-Man. I can't show you the wall going around my room, but think about the networking involved in me getting there. I knew a guy. I met his brother. His brother has a business. You know what I mean? Like, so shows are just an extension of that. And who you know is important because, I mean, this book right here. This is probably a $400 book.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get it for $400 because I knew the guy who knew the guy. You know what I mean? Like, and I think shows are an extension of that. And I also barter. From a collector standpoint, if I have 4 Punisher #1s, which I have one right here on the wall, on display, if I have 4 of them, you need that to complete your set. Let me go to the show. Let me talk to you. Let's, you know what I mean? I don't want you to spend your money, but if you have a book that I want, you know what I mean? Let's negotiate this. Let's work this out. And that one-on-one contact is crucial to that. So shows I think are important for that. I really do. More than just buying stuff, because you're right. You could just buy on Marketplace or eBay, but for bartering and making connections, very important.
so I have a question. Are you more of a collecting one card, one copy, or multiple copies of things? To have multiple copies of cards and stuff.
As a player, what's considered a play set is 4.
Okay.
So like if there's a Pokemon, I may need only 1 of him. I may need 4 of him. And if he has a juicy like SIR or something like that, I may want that for my collection. So it really all depends. From a player's perspective, I own a lot of cards. It is disgusting how many cards I have because again, I have to fuel 7 to 8 decks at any one given time. So we have to rip a lot. Well, people tell me like, oh, I ripped 50 packs this weekend. I wish that I could do that little, because the alternative is if I don't rip it, then I'm stuck having to buy a card that is valuable for my 10-year-old who's going to destroy it, because he needs it for his deck to compete. So I'd rather rip in that case, and have as many copies as possible.
Yeah. As a vendor, do you feel like it's harder to buy inventory for your shows, or you just rip so much that you don't worry about it?
So singles are very easy for us because we rip a lot. Buying sealed product is hard. I will not have a vendor. I won't have distro officially until after the store opens. You actually have to send a video, pictures of the store open, for them to consider your application. So I buy from a secondary distributor, somebody who is an established distributor. He buys it, in bulk. He's millions of this and hundreds of thousands of that, and then I then purchase it from him. That's my main way to acquire sealed, but that avenue doesn't always grant me the ability to have the best product. So it's actually to my benefit to rip more so that I have the best cards possible in my binders. So that it's attractive,
Mm-hmm.
I also have a thing with, I don't like the table to be heavy. You've seen my display. It's a huge display.
Yes.
But nothing I have is really expensive.
No.
These guys have $1,000, $2,000 cards on the table. No way. I'm a father of 3. I'm not going to knock that. Lord knows that maybe I have that at my shop. But today at my table, the binders are, I've never had a card more than $390, and that's been one. We have a 365 slot binder for $3 to $9. That's the binder that turns over the most. That's where we want to stay in that 3 to 9, 9 to 30, 9 to 20. Even the boxes that we have, the EX boxes, collection boxes, they're $35, they're $45. If it sits on the shelf too long, I can't make the money on it. You know what I mean? It loses value, right? Dragging it So I try to keep the prices modest at the table so everything flips pretty fast.
I like that because when I set up, I try to have cards that I can go and purchase. I'm not going to a show with a budget more than $150 at that.
Yeah.
So I like to have stuff that affordable that people can buy. It makes it a lot easier. There are some people who are going to go and buy the $5,000 Mahomes that they see, but that's probably because they came here looking for it, and that's where they're at. I know the bulk of people that's coming to a show, they only cost $2 to get in, and not coming to spend thousands of dollars.
It's a conversation I've had with other friends and vendors. New Britain. You think that someone's coming to New Britain to buy an $8,000 card? No, they're going to an auction, or they're attending an auction online on eBay, or that's the avenue you take for a big card. But if you're coming to your local card, show, comic show, whatever, sports, whatever, you're paying $2, $3, $4, $5 entry. You have to be realistic about where your cap is and what you could potentially sell. And then I've seen guys who had $4,000 or $5,000 cards, and then they trade down and away because they're sitting on that $4,000 or $5,000, $6,000 investment for weeks go by, and it's like, I made this investment, and I'm not making any money on it. And in some cases, it'll even depreciate. That doesn't really happen with Pokemon in general, but it can. And so I like to keep things very fluid, very liquid.
You know, in the hobby in general, they talk about depreciation. I think there needs to be a delineation or of like what's actually depreciation. Because every card, every product sells for the most at release. And then it always comes down. And they're like, oh, the card's dropping, the card's dropping. Well, yeah, because there's more people opening stuff, there's
Yeah.
more available. Like, talk to me about the card price, what it was a month after it was released to 3 months after it was released. And if there now did it really drop?
So for me, it happens in stages, right? Release, 2 weeks out, you see the first big drop in after a set release. 6 weeks out is potentially the lowest a card will be, or potentially it'll be the most expensive, because in the inception of a set, players are the ones that determine value. Collectors don't really determine value until a set has been out years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and why that happens is rarity then comes into effect, and it's no longer about the playability; it's about the rarity of the card. But initially, players, if they're like, oh, this card is going to be amazing, I need it, I want it, it's a $100 card, it's a $200 card, then the card is released. And I'll give you an example. When Zygarde EX, Mega Zygarde EX had hype behind it. I mean, as high as that can go. The art, what it can do, you know, flip a coin and you know, swing 130 at each one of your opponent's Pokemon. The potential is so great, and it bombed. A card that probably should be a $200 to $300 card right now in its art form and what it can do is sub 100. You know what I mean? And it's because the players realize, you know, it's a fantasy. It's a great fun card when you're able to pull it off, but it's so rare to pull off what it's you know, intending to do. The value drops, and then, you know, time is going to go by. In that 3-year block that a card is valid for play, collectors will say, well, there's so little pop in the PSA, or I can never find this card anywhere. And that's where now it begins to climb again in its collectability phase.
William, do you ever attend any Pokemon events, like large events with other enthusiasts?
Players, you know, I go to trade nights, but we've been to regionals, Pittsburgh, Hartford, you know, challenges, cups. These are cups and challenges are events you attend to acquire points so that you could attend the championship, the Pokemon National Championship, which was just in New Orleans a month and a half ago, I think. So yes, we do it all. We used to do it a lot more. I try to keep the boys and the kids involved now because the path for their age group to win is it not that it's an easy path, it's an easier path. You know, when I go to a regional, I'm facing up against 2,400 competitors. When they go to a regional, they're facing off against a couple to a few hundred in their age group. A couple hundred to, you know, so their path is easier. So I try to keep them as involved as possible when we can, when our schedule allows.
Very cool.
Now, when you guys go to regional, do y'all film and capture content from it and put it out anywhere, or you're just in the zone with the kids doing it?
Well, I mean, we put, you know, our photos and videos on our socials, but not, you know, we're not streaming or anything like that. Also have to be careful with that because, you know, Pokemon is, they have some real restrictive guidelines. You have to be approved to do that before you even attend. It's a whole application process. So other than your personal content for your use, anything after that, if you're not approved, it's kind of taboo.
Okay. Question. Can you in a deck? Can you mix Japanese and American cards?
No, I don't think you would do that for any of the TCGs.
Right.
I'm an old Yu-Gi-Oh player, and when Yu-Gi-Oh first dropped their English set, I was playing it in Japanese. And in the beginning, you could, but shortly after they cut it out. Pokemon, never. You can't even use the Japanese energies in English form, in English format. Also, the backing of the cards. Not every. So this is the English right backstock.
Mm-hmm.
But the backstock for a Japanese card looks different. And even though the backing of a sleeve, is a solid color, you can see this. You know what I mean? So somebody will know if it's a Japanese or English card if they're paying attention.
Okay,
I did
I
not
know
know.
that.
I didn't know that.
Um,
Sports too.
yeah, we can go sports. You want to talk some sports? So, what position did you play? Did you play in
Full,
football?
fullback, tight end, and so someone tried me once upon a time at defensive back, midfield, safety, and it was horrible. But fullback and tight end,
Left tackle, linebacker,
yeah.
and FD. Where were you?
Play right guard.
So he had the most important job, bro. I mean, like up the middle for a fullback and a running back. My guards and centers are everything.
Yeah.
Listen, I was an undersized left tackle. Okay,
You were quick.
huh?
You were quick.
I was tough.
Okay.
My
I always feel like
my
the undersized tackles, they're like if they're undersized, they have a lot of good quick, to push that DN off or that OLB off, and have him curve around the quarterback,
Yeah. Yep.
my senior year, my assistant coach is our starting left tackle. He was like 6'3", 280, and was all city. And he got stung by a bee in his face and couldn't play the whole year.
Oh, he's allergic to bee stings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And summer practice, coach goes, Dorch, you're tough, play left tackle. And I played left tackle the whole senior year. That's where I was at.
Wow.
Wow.
I had some major, weight gains, and drops in my life, and so fullback was I was kind of like the bus, but not running back. We had a weak kind of offensive line, and they wanted to put me, in the power I to protect, the running back and create that first cut lane, and that was my job. So the first guy that broke through, my assignment was to crack him and create a lane, But then like the next year I showed up and I had lost like 100 pounds. I was like, well, that's not going to work anymore. So, I went between that, offset and then tight end.
Nice. That was fun. Violence for a purpose.
Love it. I love it.
So who's your team? Giants, Jets. He's from the Bronx. I'm gonna guess the New York team.
I'm a Jet fan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm a Jet, Net, and Met fan.
You said Jet, Det, and what?
And Met.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and a Devil fan. And then I like Heartache,
And I'm a Chicago Everything fan, so yeah, we understand the heartache. But I would thank you for PCA. So appreciate that trade.
No doubt, man.
I said it's to all my friends that are Mets fans. Thank you for PCA.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. He's
Y'all
awesome.
can have one Soto.
Oh, I don't want to talk about it. It's me and my father, we almost on a daily basis, as a component of our everyday conversation, it's the heartache of this season and in general being a Met fan. we find some levity in it, but there's definitely some heartache there too.
What I find interesting is that Juan Soto really wanted to go to the Mets to play with Lindor, because all of the Dominican Republic players look up to Lindor. And last year, I thought Lindor was man, had a case for the MVP. Right, he played
Yeah.
incredible the second half of the season, and just I see them two not really have a good relationship this year and together. Like they don't really, they're co-workers essentially. They work different shifts basically. And then see him and Lindor not having a good year this year. It's like was that contract worth it? What you get, what you got to what you gave up.
Well, no, in my opinion, there's no contract like that is worth it. You like to think that we're all playing on the same team and everything is hunky dory, but if you think that professional athletes don't harbor envious and even toxic sort of envy, right? When something like that, when somebody's blessed with a sort of deal, that can happen in a locker room. I've told people like baseball in particular, it's like 90+% of baseball is up here. And because it's up here, it is a cerebral, and homework you do and everything to the game. I also think that there's a lot more feelings in there. You know what I mean? I can tell you right now, if I got a brush back in the day, I was feeling away. You know what I'm saying? But if I got clipped, running, going across the middle on a catch, I may not like it, but sometimes I, be walking and patting the guy in the back, like, good shot. A very different, but if somebody buzzed me, and I'm like, geez, like it gets in your head. It's a different animal with a different mechanism of thinking and how you process that.
And you think about today's game, if this was early 2000, late 90s, Otani would get one thrown high and in once a game at the very least.
Oh, I told this is another conversation me and my father have. We love to reminisce about the 80s, and him 60s and 70s. For me, 80s and 90s. And I think about the Randy Johnsons and Nolan Ryan, Roger Clemens, and if you take them deep, you're gonna get chin music. Maybe you may get hit.
Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine.
They want you to know, maybe not Maddux or Glavine because they were doctors and but like a Smoltz, somebody that has the steam to bring it high and tight, and those guys, their egos run even higher, because every pitch is like they're pitching for the strikeout. They're pitching to embarrass you, and so if you get the best of them, especially a fireballer. Ooh, fireballers, they do not like to get rocked. And in today's game, it's a lost art, to retribution or payback on a home run, or if you slide and you clip a guy, you never see, sort of the get back. I understand why, like injuries and all that stuff, but also you lose kind of the passion of it a little bit, a lot of it.
Two interviews it's kind of mind when you tell you baseball is a mental game. And it's like this one, right? Ken Griffey talking about his first time facing Nolan Ryan and how he was scared he was going to get hit. And Nolan Ryan, when he got to third base, Nolan Ryan just walked up to him and pointed at him. And then he just knew he was going to get hit the next time up and was surprised it didn't happen. And then Chaz Chisholm talking about his time in Florida and the kid coming up and the veterans basically harassing the kid for doing a solo shuffle after he hit a home, at a bat, and the kid never played well again after that.
Yeah,
right. Just the mental part of baseball.
It's different. Yeah, no, 100%. But there's there's an infinite amount of stories like that with baseball. You think about the All-Star game, Randy Johnson against John Kruk, right? They were in an all-star setting, and it was playful, and it was jovial, and this was exhibition. And he buzzed them one time, and he was like, "I'm not going to hit this guy." Flips his helmet backwards, bat upside down, and he's just, I'm not, go ahead, you got it. I love moments like that, and it is an extension of talking about this, the mental side of it. He had already given up, even though that was levity. If that was a real at bat, he's probably mentally had given up already. Truthfully. So a lefty versus at the time the premier lefty in baseball, who was a fireballer, an amazing slider, 6'10", tough as nails. There was a lot of give up on those at bats for everybody.
You look at Randy Johnson. You look at like today, Mizorowski schemes and how much control they have, how fast they're going. Randy Johnson was wild the first 3 years of his career.
Very much so.
You didn't know where that fastball was going to land.
Yeah,
you just knew it was going to be fast.
So
it's going to be done in a blink of an eye.
So with Randy was in large part because he was still developing. The bigger a body is in baseball, especially for pitchers, really for pitchers, to repeat the mechanics at 6'10" that create length, velocity, your accuracy. It's hard to repeat 6'10" in those mechanics. Think about basketball for a second, right? Isn't it kind of weird that if you're under 6'8", the average free throw is like 79%, but if you're over 6'8" or 6'9", it drops down to like 68%. It's a weird thing. The bigger the body is, the more mechanics go into it. Same thing with pitching. Once he learned it took him to get to manhood, 27, 28. I'm a man now. I know how this body works, and that was it. The next 15 years were for the books.
And they're basketball, like you're talking about, they're power forwards and centers. They're the same way.
Yes. Yep.
People expect for them to come out of high school and ball, but they don't.
I personally am not a big fan of the high schoolers coming out. I think you got to develop. You should, I think there needs to be more development. Because I can't stand when I see a millionaire shooting 62% from the field, or a millionaire that has no handle left, or can't hit a bank shot, or you know what I mean. Like maybe if you stood 3 years, and I understand the financial, pluses, but now with the NIL, you think that maybe there's a reason to stay. Hone your craft so that you're not a splash in the pan for 2, 3, or 4 years, and you're having a 10, 12, 15-year career.
I mean, with NIL in all sports, there's definitely a decision to be made if you're going basketball. If you're going second round, there's a real decision like, hey, I'm going to stay.
Yes.
I can probably make more staying than the second rounder. And I think it all depends on your family situation, and what you come from. I'm like one of the Booster twins is still staying in school, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't good enough to go first round like his brother, but I'm sure money wasn't in the decision to go or stay for them.
No.
Huh?
No. But I bet you, playing at Duke, because he's legacy, because he did do well in college, not as well as his brother. There was probably some encouragement there to, hey, stay in school, put another year, see where your position is on the team, and you go from averaging 11 to 15 points a game, from 4 rebounds to 7 rebounds a game, and develop your skills, and I love this daddy.
Gotta get draft stock.
Right. Increase your draft stock. And what's the worst thing that happens? The worst thing that happens, you come out a second rounder next year, but you've made your NIL money. Your dad made a lot of money in his day when he played. Like you shouldn't be. In his case, it shouldn't be the bag. It should be about owning your craft and becoming a better player and creating your own legacy.
I mean, for, for the successes of like a Kobe, KG, Lou Wills, there's a lot of people who came from high school to the NBA, and they were 3 years, if that, never really got to see sport. So like you have, and it still took what KG probably 3 4 years to grow into his body and getting to where he was really
Jermaine
getting
O'Neal,
dominant. Right.
KG, Kobe. It took them each 2 3 years before you're like, like you could see how good they were, but now wow, they're really good. But there's a lot more failures to the high school guys than there are success stories. It's unfortunate because you think about some of them and you say, man, if he did have another year, 2 years, 3 years to develop, not just his body, but also his mind, and emotionally, playing for a big program. Now the transfer portal exists. That's a thing, and guys in college now can move around more freely. I think today than ever. If this isn't the spot for you, maybe you're developing better with another program, for whatever the reason, and to that benefit, staying in another year, two may work out best. And I would like to also point out that if the NBA isn't for you, right? If you don't make it for whatever reason, international basketball is bigger now than it's ever been. I mean, it's huge. And you can absolutely put a 10-year, 12-year, career in overseas and be a multi-millionaire, a star, a productive player. And it's nothing to hang your head about. You know what I mean? You are a good player. If you play D1, D2, and if somebody's paying you overseas to play, you are a good player. Hang your head high.
I mean, look how much money Bol and Taco Fall are making over in overseas.
Yeah.
So you've seen LaMelo go, forego college and go overseas for a year
Yep.
and play in Australia before he comes to NBA.
Yep.
So there's money to be made just going for it. The only thing I don't agree with NIL is how many times they get the transfer. That is the only thing I don't like.
Do you think there should be a limit?
Yeah, there should be a limit because just for the simple fact that you can extort one school or the other
Right.
with transferring. That is the main reason. I'm for them getting their money. I'm not for extortion.
I think it should be limited. I think it's funny because I've had this conversation before. It should be freshman to sophomore and one time, because the programs also invest in you as well, not just in their marketing, but how they craft the team. You know what I mean? Like is what's available to them. And so, are you part of the plans? Are you not part of the plans? It's everyone's making money at that level, but people want to win too. You know what I mean? The coaches, the trainers, the physical therapists, everybody involved, they have a vested interest in it. So I think it should be a one-time transfer. I think you have the opportunity between your freshman and sophomore year, and that's it.
So now let me ask you a question. What about coaches that bounce around?
Oof.
Should that be limited?
Lane Kiffin?
That's exactly who I'm thinking about. Should that be limited as well?
I don't know because they are so the difference being is like that's a for hire employee. Even though they're getting NIL money, they're not employees. They're there to for their higher education, quote unquote.
But William, you know these guys are not there for that higher education.
No. That's why I said quote unquote. 100%. I think it's a little bit different. You take a 55-year-old man, who's got kids in college, and he has to change the situation. It is wild. Listen, I'm in property management. I've started with a company, at a high position, a director or whatever, and within like 6 months, I realized this isn't the place for me. You know what I mean? Like, and I have to make a move, and I do so because I am, for hire. And I do think players they should have that chance. But just like I just said, like I knew right away, like, oof, this is the wrong decision I made. You should know right away. Does this coach work well with me? Do me and my teammates jive? Am I part of the plans for the next year, 2 years, whatever? Or am I a role player? You'll know that. You'll know that right away. So you only have to be honest with yourself and make that decision.
I like the root honesty that Coach Sanders does with his players. Yeah, you should probably just go get in the portal, right? And I'll help you. I'll help you put it on tape. You're gonna play in the spring game. You're gonna play in this. I'll help you get tape to go in the portal. But I don't have plans for you here. You should just go get in the portal.
That's a very honest coach.
Mhm.
He's very honest.
But also helpful.
Yes.
Right.
But but truthfully, that's unique because not only was he a player, he was an elite player. And he had to move and change situations. So I think for him, he sees it and is respectful of that from their perspective. You know what I mean? Like he realizes like this is a thing and it does occur. It may not work for you here, but I'm gonna hook you up. We're gonna work it out. See if we get you over to Arkansas or wherever you want to go. And no, yeah, I do like that. I like. He's one of my favorite players of all time. He's become one of my favorite coaches too.
My naiveness wants to believe that he's one of the few coaches that actually gives a damn about his players as people and as young men.
I think you're right.
Huh?
I don't think that's
like,
right.
I don't like. I look at like a John Calipari, and I don't really think John Calipari cares that much about his players,
right?
Unless they go to the NBA, right? I don't think he's reaching back out to them, to the ones who didn't make it, to see how they doing and catching up, and like Coach Sanders isn't involved in thinking about and reaching out to the families, and taking that promises that he made to their parents serious.
Sure.
This is a promise I made to your mom and dad. I'm gonna take care of you. Well, and it may not be here, but I'm still gonna help you get somewhere. Somebody else is gonna take care of you.
Sure. I think that Calipari is, if you go back 30 years, 35 years in college basketball, specifically college basketball, there's a group of guys who started out and they were very passionate. They loved the game. And of that group, many of them became more like businessmen, those coaches. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm 100% sure that at a point they were passionate and they had those great, strong relationships. But then, they get to a point where it's like, I'm 70 years old. I don't have to be doing this, but I'll take your money. You know what I mean? Like,
here's the thing about coaching. If you look, they're state employees. If you go to your any state's website and look for the highest paid employee, it's probably a basketball or football coach.
Yeah.
So the biggest university.
Yeah. I believe it. I've never looked that up, but that sounds like that makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah. Saban, here in Connecticut, Gino. Oh no, I think it's Hurley now. I think Hurley's the highest paid state employee.
Yeah, they're printing money.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, they bring in the money as long as the programs are winning. There's no doubt, but I do love a coach that wears it all on his shoulder for his team, man. Like, so I may not even be a fan of the team, if I'm a Net Jet, or I follow Notre Dame for football and Duke for basketball. I've been like that my whole life since I was a little kid. But if I, Syracuse, or whoever else,
their coach,
yeah, I love
their football coach. I like him.
Yes, so there's coaches that you can love a coach and how he coaches, and the passion that he puts forth, it becomes very endearing. You know what I mean? And it's easier for you to have a connection there. I love that. I do.
I think I just kind of trip on a coach who comes to my house, sits in my living room, and tells my parents something, and then bounces. And then people tell me as a player that I can't do the same.
Yeah, I get that.
Because none of these coaches are sticking around until I graduate. If I graduate. You got to think Tressel back in the day with Ohio State had like a 30-something% graduation rate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the game is money. So a lot of times we still talk about, and I think the media, ESPN, talks about graduation and student athletes, and that's pretty much, if you want to do that as a player, if you want to be Samari Rolle, that's what you want to do, then you go do that. But nobody here is really embracing that, everybody on this team being a student athlete.
That's true.
So let's all just go for the money. Let's just get to the chase.
Yeah, it's true. It is all money in the end. In my eyes, the naiveness is I hope that everyone at the start of it is for the love of the game. You know what I mean? You pick up that basketball, you play that football, baseball, whatever. It is for the love of the game. And for coaching, I coached high school rec basketball for 10 years, and I loved it. I every bit of it. I'm in contact with probably a third of the players through social media still to this day, and one of them actually just got married. I can't believe it. It's how old I'm getting. But I love that, and I naively, like John said earlier, I like to think that there's still a passion there for everybody involved, even though I know realistically, it's a sport that's driven by money. They're all.
I don't even know if this kneel is what it's supposed to be, because at Colorado, like Shedeur and what's the corner, Big John, that went pro?
Travis Hunter.
Hunter. They were taking their kneel money and splitting it across the team. Like these other guys really didn't have these kind of deals. There's probably only maybe 2, 3, 4 guys on a given team that really is generating brand money like that. The rest of these guys is here.
Well, why do you think Texas Tech, those programs, they have the most NIL money? BYU partially got AJ because they had the most money, and they had a coach coming from the NBA to put an NBA system around AJ to get him to the NBA.
Sure.
Right? But a lot of Europe is at one time, Alabama football had enough money in their reserves to run all sports programs for 10 years. Just in their reserves off of 1 year of football.
Wow.
You could pay all sports for 10 years.
Is that a fact for real?
Yeah. They had almost $500 million in their reserves.
People don't realize the engine that football is in this country and what the potential for monetary production across the board. It's not even just the organizations involved, man. Everything, soft drinks, the apparel, everything that's involved in football it's part of this bigger engine.
Oh, it's definitely ticket sales. I mean, you got to think the main reason why Coach Sanders is not at Jackson State is because they were manipulating ticket sales, and that was part of his contract.
Mm-hmm.
They were underreporting how many tickets so he's seeing full stadiums week in and week out.
It's crazy.
It's that creative corporate math that happens when you got that much money.
That's right. There's and to think there are people who are looking into this to manipulate those situations to benefit. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. There's somebody there. Like, I wonder how we can, and then there we go.
What coach got fired? Was it I think it may have been Arkansas or somewhere down south got fired. The football coach got fired, and the governor said, "No, I ain't picking the coach because it's a state
Yeah,
employee. I'm picking the
yeah.
head coach."
Oh,
It was
yeah.
something
What
to say.
team was that?
I can't remember which team, but I do remember this.
Yeah,
I'm picking the next coach.
not the board, not the board, not the school. What the governor said he was picking that. Ah, can't think of the coach name because coach is not getting paid by two schools.
Let me
Um,
Google search real quick. Let me do some research.
um, but college football, like I went to school in South Carolina, and college college football is everything in the South. In the Southeast Conference, college football is everything.
Oh, this is Louisiana.
LSU, yeah.
Um, LSU coach, yeah, because they're still playing. They're paying two coaches, and then they just got another coach.
Yeah, Brian Kelly was out.
Brian Kelly is out. He said, yeah, he said he was.
That's because he knows where the money starts, and the money starts with
Hmm.
people. So let me get in this.
That's an obscure situation, though. There needs to be a sort of, a board that's, taking care of that. Not the governor, regardless if it's a state employee or not.
I think in any sport, right, you should not be paying two or more past coaches because you fired them early, right? That is no problem. Like you look at who the Pistons paying. They're paying the last coach and the coach before him, and he's getting paid. And that second coach they let go is still getting paid from New Orleans.
Well, that's because these coaches they pay don't hit their bottom line, so that doesn't affect their dollars when it comes to the players, so they don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't affect the second apron or the
None of
salary
it.
cap.
No, no, because they're office employees essentially,
Hmm.
right? They're the budget for them comes from the executive office and executive management team. And I'm a Met fan, bro. I think we're paying 3 managers right now.
It's, I mean, I wish two of my last three jobs are still paying me while I'm working my current job.
Right?
And I didn't even get fired, but still.
Right?
You see.
Oh man.
You know what? Hey, boss, I got a better job off over here. I'm gonna go work for this company. You want to buy me out? Can I get a buyout?
What about? I tell you right now, I don't want to like go too crazy, but think those deferments now. Oh my god, it's such a regular part of baseball these days. Deferments, and I think about the original big deferment with Bobby Bonilla. Every year he's making X amount of $1 million, and
Yeah.
he hasn't played in 30 years. Great.
So that's gonna be. Are you geared up for a real fight? Because you're going to see the best players association probably call a strike and not play next year because I guarantee you they're not signing anything that has a salary cap.
Yeah.
Like Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, I don't think they're signing anything that says we're going to do a salary cap.
Well, this got brought up during the media day, right? And players
Yeah.
were shutting down.
Yes, it makes no that is the best PA system, right? They stick together, they make enough money to strike.
Yeah.
Almost every major leaguer makes enough money to sustain not working, and they have enough money in the players' funds to help the ones that don't. The minor league players get screwed in a strike, but the major league players they can hold off from playing.
Minor league strikes as well. Aren't they a different?
Yes,
Oh,
my,
really?
every there's no baseball in this strike. The last CBA they fought for uh less manipulation time, so you can't wait to bring somebody up because you want to manipulate the service time, and they fought for more money for the minor leaguers. That was the big fight in the last agreement. So before so now if let's say you bring up your top prospect and they win Rookie of the Year, the team gets extra draft compensation. They get an All-Star, they get extra draft compensation and on for the bringing them up early in the success. So that's why Julio Rodriguez got brought up early, Lou Bob. That's also why they're getting paid earlier. So now instead of waiting to arbitration or waiting to get to finish a deal, you can pay them earlier. So you get everybody that's coming up, like Lou Bob, who's the guy for Jackson Churio. They all signed contracts, and they weren't even 3 months into being on the Major League roster. They all signed team, but these contracts are more team friendly because they're getting their money quicker and they get to free agency quicker. So before, I can bring you up for half the season, send you back down, bring you up next season for half the season, send you back down, bring you up for the third season. I had to keep you up. But in these 3 seasons, I've only used 1 year of service time.
Yeah.
So now you still got 3 more years before you get to free agency.
They've been, although the PA has been fighting against that because the manipulation of service time. I mean, for 30 of the last 40 years has been a big issue. You got Ryan Howard. Ryan Howard and Chase Utley are 2 of the biggest players that I remember, like I in modern history, that the team manipulated their service time because they didn't want to start the clock. There's no way that Ryan Howard should have been 26 and a rookie. It happened. Chase Utley shouldn't have been 25 and a rookie. It was obvious for years ahead of their official start time that they were ready. And these little cups of coffee, September call-up doesn't count against that, and to do this repetitively over a course of years when the player's ready. I think that's only a detriment to your team, to be honest, and your family knows it.
You got any comments, FG?
Oh, we got Mr. Wax out here. It says there's a lot of teams who do that. They're typically teams who are trying to quick fix things with a household name coach, but don't really fix the players.
I mean, it's cheaper to replace the coach than it is the players.
Yep. There's no question.
True. Oh, we got Zerny. Zerny saying what's up. We were able to talk about LSU. They brought that up. Talking about high school players who were successful. Most we know are not. Zerny says if I'm going to school for the NIL, if I played in this era. And then Zerny also said, I'm trying to learn the characteristics of Pokemon. I like the cards a lot. That was back when we were talking about different attributes to different characters.
Okay. That plays a big part. Each Pokemon has a typing, and with each typing comes a strength and a weakness. So if you're a fire Pokemon and you're going against a grass Pokemon, you distinctly have an advantage because every attack from you is doubled because it's grass, versus fire. And there's a couple of all the typings have a weakness. There's only one typing that doesn't have a weakness, and that's Dragon. In the video games, Dragon is weak to Dragon, but in the card game, Dragon is not weak to anything.
I mean, give me a Dragon, I'm good.
Right?
Let's go Game of Thrones.
It's the best price, right? Hey guys, I got work in the morning. I'm gonna start getting off, man.
Yeah, I say we don't want to keep you on. Where can everybody find you at?
Oh, come see us on Instagram, Forbidden Cards and Collectibles, and then after the store opens, 5 Alcap Ridge in Cromwell, Connecticut.
Hey, please keep me updated on if we on the opening day, so I can try to be there. Appreciate your time. We'll definitely got to have you back on again. A couple months, talk to you. Appreciate it. Tell the family I said hi.
Yes, William. Wish you the best.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. That was great. It was a great conversation.
Yes, of course. I tried to pretty good guess. That's good for him. I'm excited to go to the show. Excited to go to the shop. It sounds like he's going to build a nice community, a nice space for kids and families to be in and spend some time there after school. So,
Yeah, you can tell the passion that he has about young people.
yeah. hmm
Very cool.
I mean, his kids are awesome. And I've done deals with each and every one of them. So they know how to will and deal. I tell you that. And now then they're again polite, nice, everything you would expect from you know. So
Oh
pretty
yeah.
cool. All
Oh
right, so
yeah. What you got? Got a few more
I don't
minutes here.
know. I mean, I'm off tomorrow, so I'm good. My wife already said, I see you tomorrow, like 4 in the morning." I mean, I don't got much, man. I've been researching, getting prepared to buy some some stuff, some slabs, and trying to get my deals on some deals. I sent you the gem rate of Top Chrome Cosmic, those
Yeah, I saw that.
planetary pursuits. 76% is crazy.
Yeah, saw that.
Like, that was appreciate that, Zerny.
Yeah, thank you, Zerny.
Um, them
Good.
planets
I'm
are
gonna send.
worth sitting in the $80.
Yes, they are. Yeah, with that percentage is crazy.
Wait, but even PSA nines are almost double wrong. What I was seeing yesterday when I was half asleep looking at, so I got to double check that math.
Yeah, it's wild stuff, man.
Do you got any final thoughts? Any?
While we were on, the Miami Heat leaked on their YouTube that they're scheduling a press conference for LeBron James to say he's going to the Miami Heat. So people are going crazy right now.
Mhm.
What do you think of LeBron in Miami? I don't think that's happening, but
I,
what do you think of LeBron in Miami?
I just don't see how that works. You have three of these same players, and
Yeah. You definitely got two downhill.
you got two downhill. Average. I mean, I know the numbers say they have a lot of shooters that shoot 42% from the three, but you're going to have a lot of average shooters because they will not be getting as many shots off they normally get.
I'm with Zerny here. I don't believe a word of that. Zero. And teams could be people. Teams could be putting things out to coerce a player. But
Yeah,
you go visit a university, they have you put on their helmet and shoulder pads and take pictures. They put you on
mhm.
the jumbotron. They have a press conference. A mock press conference. They do all kinds of stuff. But it is what it is.
I need to figure out how to go to a Knicks game next year. It's close to say or go to a Celtics game. I don't know which one I want to go to see the Bulls play. I want to see Caleb Wilson play in person.
I think the Knicks will probably be more competitive. I don't know
I,
about
I,
Boston, but
I
maybe
want to see the
Boston.
Bulls play. So,
Oh,
you
okay.
know, I don't want to see the Knicks play. I don't want to see Boston play. I want to see them play the Bulls.
Oh, you want to see Caleb?
I want to see Caleb play.
You think Caleb's the
Too
real deal?
close to play. I want to see it with my own eyes. I don't know. I like the kid though.
I think he's the
I
real
like the
deal.
personality.
I think he's the real deal. I think his biggest problem is going to be can he stay healthy?
hmm
But scoring the basketball, rebounding the basketball, he has to get better at his post game. That'll happen. He's young in the game. He's young. So, but just his tenacity, 6'10", probably be 7 feet soon. Because everybody growing 2 inches in the off season.
I see that.
It's weird, man. Some of the stuff we talk about and we run with, Okay,
It was great.
if you're 6'7", now you're 6'9". Okay, can you shoot the basketball? That's the question. I don't need to know that you grew 2 inches. That's cool. I would expect the average guy at 18, 19 to continue to grow. So it's cool. I got going into
The
the
fact
season. Got a lot of questions about Cooper Flag. We're gonna see what that dude's made of.
the fact that the NBA is really waiting to see what LeBron goes to release his schedule is a problem.
Well, I'm surprised. This is my thing. I'm surprised Adam Sandler came out and said it. I mean Adam Silver came out and said that. We already know that.
But this is, I mean, I guess with the TV contract, you want to put the stars on TV. But you know what? If unless it's LeBron's last year, either way, you're looking at at it coming to where LeBron is not in the league, right?
Mhm.
And so if you're the only way I find it acceptable is if hey, we want to make sure we get him on Christmas Day because it's he may be if he's retiring at the end of the year, then great. But if you're like, hey, maybe we'll make a change in see if we can make a change and adjustment after the decision made, hey, move a game. Maybe we bump because like you're not the teams you consider going to, you're going to have on Christmas Day anyway, right? You're no longer going to have Memphis ain't playing on Christmas Day. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you Memphis is not playing on Christmas Day. I guarantee you Minnesota, Golden State, LA, Cleveland, Philly, Boston, Miami, all playing on Christmas Day,
Mhm.
right? Who they're playing, it may be question, but those six teams, I guarantee, because even if LeBron doesn't go to the Warriors, you're you're looking at a lot of less years of Steph Curry being able to play on Christmas Day.
True.
Cleveland, Cleveland top three team last year, right? And they got James Harden, Donovan Mitchell. People like them. You want to see them play on Christmas Day. You want to see Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball play. You want to see Jason Tatum play. You want to see Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Sixers play. You definitely want to see how Miami looks with Giannis on Christmas Day.
How many
And
games you? Go ahead. Go ahead.
does it really matter who they put on Christmas Day? Because the NFL has Christmas Day games. Guess what? You're gonna lose ratings for it regardless.
Who do you? How many games you see Boston winning?
I'll answer that question next week. I don't know.
Okay. I'll let
Rough
you.
guess 50.
What's that?
Rough guess 50.
Oh, I was thinking 40.
Nah, I'm thinking it'll be that too low. The coach is too much of a psycho to be that low.
He ain't playing he ain't playing in the game, bro. I mean, he can be a
Yeah,
psycho.
but
He ain't dribbling, shooting, doing all the rebounding. Nothing.
I understand that, but like,
It's all good. I just don't know where the scoring's coming from and the others coming from. But we'll see. It's all on Tatum's shoulders now.
Mrs. Wax said, "What do we think about the PSA shutdown?"
I kind of felt like it was coming. So I've never been shocked by this.
So now that we are in the middle of it, I will say this.
Hold up. Do you
Prob-
know you're in the middle of it, sir?
Well, now that we're in it, okay,
Okay.
I don't say middle, that we're in it, right? It was. I'm glad it started when it started because guess every year times get longer after right before and after the national. right?
Mhm.
They're gonna get so many cards submitted at the national. Times get longer, right? I still say if you want your cards back in 120 days and without paying that price, you may still want to go to GameStop and get them through. Each one of my GameStop orders have come back quicker than things I've group submitted with PC Sports Cards that got to PSA the same day.
Mm.
I have all my GameStop orders back. I still have an order from February that hasn't even been open in the PSA receiving yet. I just know it's there. And this is from February. So
How many cards in that order, man?
that was a 5 card order. But with GameStop, they can only send out cards that are when they get 10, at least 10 to send out, or if they've been there 2 weeks waiting to be sent out. So they don't. So if nobody submits a card on a Wednesday, nothing goes out. But if somebody comes in Thursday and they submit 10 cards, that order's going out Friday. They have like a 10 card minimum at my store before they can have to send things out.
Interesting. It's funny. I didn't know it was that big of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just been putting Fanatics Fest content in the background. Just no sound. Just seeing what am I taking in from it.
WWE's always a hit.
Oh, I'm not talking about the autograph portion. I'm not talking about show.
No. Oh, so yeah, that's what we're talking about. Like the events, the WWE events coming out, Superstar being a jump ring. That's always the best part of the show for everybody that's attending.
I thought it was
They
cool.
can do that.
Klay Thompson was in the house.
Yeah. But you saw celebrities, all celebrities did that. I mean, there was as Jordan and Big Bro put it, there was a lot of culture missing from Fanatics Fest.
Big John. I mean, we kind of knew that before.
The biggest controversy coming out of Fanatics Fest is Neo leaking a picture of a masked WWE wrestler that was when he was unmasked on accident. He was live streaming as he walked past, and that's a big thing.
Who was I don't even know anything about this. Who's the wrestler?
So, Penta, he's a masked wrestler. In Lucha Contest, you are not to be seen in public without your mask on.
Why do he have a mask on?
He was in a private backstage area where he got permission to take his mask off, but he's in a private backstage area. And Neon got permission to film in that area. And he walked in the camera shot.
Have you seen this video?
Yeah.
Is this on Neo's channel?
Neon, the kick screen.
Is this on Neon's channel? Oh,
yeah. Well, it's taken down now. It was on the live stream, but you can see clips. And people like, oh, WWE suing him. Like, they can sue him, but it's Fanatics' fault. At the end of the day, he got permission to film that live.
Dude, if I was on that level, I'm a masked wrestler. I gotta have this set up where nobody can walk by and see me. I have to. It's really lax.
Now, here's the thing. They made it worse. Fanatics, WWE, and the wrestler made it worse because at first glance, it's a walkthrough. You didn't notice him until he came back and said, "Hey, can you cut that? Can you take that off? Can you cut that?" You didn't really notice him on first glance watching the video.
Hmm.
So y'all made it worse, making a big deal of it. Now it's making the rounds and going viral because y'all made a big deal of it. It wasn't he didn't intentionally film him, but because you came back, you go from being in the shot 1.2 seconds now to being in the shot for 35 seconds. You know, because now you accidentally take it down. Now we're visiting to see, that was Penta because we see the mask and the makeup.
I'm looking for
But
this.
if you'd have just kept moving, wouldn't even know.
I'm seeing stuff about. I would have never known. Oh, so am I seeing something? Was he? What did he have on his face? He still had his makeup on his
His
chin.
makeup, his makeup on, and it's in his eyes. So,
Oh, I see him.
yeah, when you first watched that clip, if I wouldn't have told you, you wouldn't even know somebody walked past.
Do you watch do you watch Neon's content?
No, not at all. I only see clips that get reposted on TikTok or Instagram. I don't watch any live streams anymore.
I don't think I ever started, but um I try not to turn down any form of. I try to look and learn on stuff. So
I, I haven't been on Whatnot in months now, and for no other reason is I don't have time to pay attention. I'm doing way too much other things on a day-to-day basis.
hey, I'm going back to what William was talking about. As Junior gets older, G gets older, and people get older. It seems like in the last year, it has just being involved in people's lives.
Hmm.
I don't know how people have like 10 kids, man. It's like just being involved in their lives is like, and I get off work every day, bro. Unless I come on here with you.
Hmm.
Even before I get on here, I still got work to do. When I get off work, I am involved. I'm doing something. I'm not just coming home and kick back. And I am doing. Junior wants to go play basketball, or he wants to go do this, or we're sitting down talking strategy on like this conversation or this activity, and I enjoy that. But
Hmm.
you gotta jump in there and be a part of it. When I get off work, it's like I can't be like, man, I'm tired. No, I gotta
Um,
jump in. As soon as I get here, I'll take a breath and time to go. Get
my
some water.
Sunday, just because the way things are going with my sister-in-law and just things that happen, my weekly routine has changed a lot. So now Monday, Tuesday, I'm getting off work. I'm going to pick my daughter up with her mom, and bringing her back home. I'm doing dinners and getting everything ready, and then Wednesday, then getting ready for you. Come on here. Wednesday, I'm working all day. Then coming home and trying to relieve my wife and relieve my wife from kind of being with the girl all day, and then taking care of family members and stuff like that. It's a lot,
It's a lot.
and I work 60 hours a week, so like it's a lot. When I come out, after I sit down, my wife was funny because like last week she was here when I got off work, because she had to do what she had to do, and I eat some. I cook dinner early, and I go to sleep on the couch. And I ate a snack, and I went to sleep on the couch. She's like, "You just fall asleep." I'm like, "Yeah, this is my routine. You're not here on Mondays, and I come home from work. I take a 20-minute nap, then I go make dinner. Like, like I just tell I rest up. I come in, snack, sleep. All right, let me go make dinner today on the way home. Let me clean up this. Let me go do this. So like it's a whole routine, and this is without extracurriculars like karate or sports or park and stuff. This is regular. Last week I had my daughter. We went outside for an hour just throwing water balloons at each other, just to get outside and cool down and have some fun.
Yeah, being involved, man, is work. But what it forces me to do is, I found that the better I eat, kind of the more I move around at work or go for walks, it kind of gives me more energy to be able to do this or that. And when like Junior and I go out and shoot ball, I get in there and I'm shooting, or I'm shagging his balls, or I'm running stuff down to get my steps and my exercise in. It actually helps me. So I kind of look at him as the he's the rabbit, man. Like he gets me up, gets me to moving. And that's the positive part of it. So but I still don't understand. But you got 12, 15 kids. I'll tip my hat to you. That's the real deal.
My grandma had 12. Her firstborn had 10.
That's a family reunion right there.
Exactly. Like I don't know.
Well, when you're older, you got to help with your younger siblings. We know that.
Yeah.
You're not helping.
I don't know what to do if I had 3. Like
If we had another young person, it's going to shift up the whole dynamic.
I told my wife, if you want another kid, you better do it before this one get out of diapers. 'Cause once I'm done buying diapers, I'm done buying diapers.
I always love the couples when they're talking like, you better hurry up if you want to.
Hey, if you want another one, listen, I'm done buying diapers when I'm done buying diapers, bro.
I love it.
We joke with my daughter all the time. You want a baby, brother? She's like, don't play with me. She is not for those jokes.
Yeah, I keep my eye on Caleb Wilson, see what he's talking about. See what's going on. But Big John, I'm gonna jump off here, man, because I really haven't even had dinner.
Well, go eat, man.
I'm gonna have to get something to eat, and then probably
I
spend
had
20 minutes
you
after
be
that.
happy.
What's
You
that?
be proud of me. I had chicken thighs, pan fried chicken thighs, and Brussels sprouts with them.
Big John,
Nice of it.
that's a meal of champions right there.
Mhm.
Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and cauliflower will change
Mhm.
people's lives. And you get a lean protein like that, you get a protein on the side.
Mhm. You be
It's a
eating a
game.
little bit better, you know.
It's a game changer. I'm telling you. You can tell your energy level is different. Yeah, it's a game changer.
All
I've
right.
learned
Good
over
night,
the last
everybody.
you have to playing ball. I thought you had to get up and run and jump over this and lift that and do this. But if you are consistent with how you approach it, and then you say this weekend, I say it's been 3 weeks or whatever, I'm gonna have some stuff I really want. I'm gonna lower the portion, but I'm still gonna have it. This thing takes off, man. Because then you're never really going without. You just lowering the portion on certain things and increasing on other things. It's all good. I'm happy to hear that, bro. Gets me excited, man.
I know. All right.
Bro,
So it's good.
I hope what's up?
So hopefully we get New Breed next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit him up a little bit after this. Hopefully, we get New Breed next week. Hopefully, we know soon. Well, Brian, I'm kind of kicked back on it myself. I'm not really. It is what it is.
All right, man. We take it easy to the family. I said hi.
You too, sir. Have a good one.
Goodbye.
Peace.